morning. Happy Friday. So we'll go ahead and get started. So let's start by bringing our attention to the physical posture, settling the body in a stable, comfortable, upright position that's serviceable for meditation. So make sure that your feet are flat on the ground. Hands are in the lap, right over left, with the palms upturned and the thumbs gently touching. Our eyes are gently closed or slightly open. And mainly we want to think about the back being straight, torso being open. We want to think about avoiding any kind of slouching or leaning. Trying to hold the body up without any unnecessary tension. So we also want to think about relaxing into the posture, kind of letting the body hang on itself without losing that upright quality. Then just try to feel like you're able to contain your awareness to the body and mind. There's no need to send it out, to pay attention to the world around you. Also, no need to pay attention to thoughts of the past or plans for the future. Start to use the sensation that accompanies the in breath and the out breath to hold your awareness in the present moment, letting go again and again of anything that arises in the mind that isn't that present moment physical sensation. Just noticing it, letting it go, and bringing your attention back. and generate an altruistic motivation for your time, thinking of your spiritual life as the vehicle for developing good qualities, reducing tendencies and habits that cause suffering for oneself and motivate actions that cause suffering for others. Thinking principally about the ways in which that process is of great benefit to others, awakening your potential, even thinking of how that can culminate in the state of enlightenment to perfectly benefit all sentient beings. And then this week, Geshe Sherab taught on equalizing and exchanging self with other and Tonglen in that context, which is the other method for developing bodhicitta we recently spent time looking at. So it's always really important to try to put into practice the teachings that we are given. So I thought it'd be good to do a couple classes on this topic. So today I thought we could try to get through equalizing and exchanging, equalizing, and then the advantages of cherishing others and the disadvantages of self cherishing. These three first steps to being able to exchange self for other. So we saw with the first process, that 7 point cause and effect method, that it started with equanimity. And equanimity is, in a way, similar to this idea of equalizing, but it's also different. When we meditated on equanimity, we tried to think about mainly having equal regard for friend, enemy, and stranger, seeing how those labels were very fleeting and how they didn't really refer to anything significant or meaningful. And that insight started the process of that 7 point cause and effect method. But equalizing is what starts off this process, and it's a bit different. With equalizing, we bring ourselves more into the picture in a way that having equal regard for friend, enemy, and stranger doesn't do. So, with this method, we focus on the reality that all sentient beings, including oneself are exactly the same in wanting happiness and wanting to be free from suffering. And all sentient beings are exactly the same in the degree to which they are motivated to be separated from the slightest of negativities, and in the way in which they pursue even the smallest of happinesses. And in the way in which they're not really satisfied except for being completely free of any suffering and having real, true, lasting happiness and peace. So take a moment and acknowledge this motivation in your own life, your own continual need to be separated from suffering, and your pursuit of every form of happiness and contentment. And then recognize that every other sentient being, from the smallest mosquito up to and including every human being, and if we have learned or heard about other realms of existence, we can also think about other realms of existence, not on the earth, the beings that populate those realms. Think that there are no exceptions to this basic drive to be completely free of any suffering and to pursue every happiness. There's absolutely no difference between myself and any other sentient being in this regard. Try to make 3 or 4 different examples of this and really concentrate until you can feel the truth of that in a deep and visceral way. And then think that there's no logical or sensible basis in distinguishing one sentient being as being deserving of accomplishing their aims more so than any other sentient being. We may have gone through this life, countless past lives, being primarily interested in securing that benefit just for oneself, but that attitude has no logical or reasonable basis. Every sentient being has an equal right to accomplish their own highest welfare. And so we can contemplate the disadvantages of not having recognized this truth in our own life. We can see how by only looking out for our own interests, we've blocked ourselves from actually accomplishing the highest, most effective state of freedom from suffering, even for oneself, because we've driven the engine of cyclic existence again and again by this self serving, self cherishing attitude, serving as the ground that empowers the afflicted states, giving rise to a sense of separation and competition. Completely blocking me from even having the time and the space to really engage in spiritual practice because of my distraction to chasing sensorial experiences. Even when those sensorial experiences occur, we're never satisfied, always comparing it to what it could have been or what it was like before, always afraid of losing it. So, here again, make 3 or 4 examples of the ways in which this unrealistic preoccupation with our own interests, our own desires, in your own life has given rise to obstacles, difficulties. Try to really see the disadvantages of this kind of approach to life in a deep and visceral way, and then just hold your mind in that insight when you're able to generate it. And then when you're ready, we'll come back together and we'll dedicate. So recollect your altruistic motivation, the positive energy, the positive karmic potentials that you've created in the mind, and think that you offer that for the benefit of all sentient beings without exception. Think may that positive energy ripen in any way that sentient beings need now and in the future, up to and including their enlightenment. May it serve as a cause and condition to achieve my own enlightenment so that I am given the tools and the ability to benefit sentient beings perfectly. And may any hindrances to the Guru's long life be completely pacified. May the Guru's long life always be stable and happy. In the snowy mountain paradise, you, the source of good and happiness, all powerful Chinrezig Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Thank you.